Hi guys, nice to see you all. I'm Joe from Arai Helmets in the UK. I'm here at Infinity Motorcycles just to give you a bit of a brief kind of overview of what Arai is, as well as going through the ranges, the helmets within the range. So I'll take you through everything that hopefully we can give you all the information so you can make a good buying decision. Just so you know, these guys are really well trained. I've just come down here to do some training. They really know what they're on about. So if you need to speak to a business that has lots of technical knowledge, don't be afraid to get in touch with Infinity. They're very, very good guys and they know exactly what they're talking about. I get a lot of questions about Arai. You know, people really want to know what the Arai brand is all about. And for Arai themselves, they are solely and specifically focused on safety. In a different way to maybe other brands, and really it comes down to the way that they construct their shell. So Arai have the philosophy that the shell on a helmet should be as hard and as strong as it possibly can be to offer you different benefits as a consumer in terms of the safety and what that helmet does for you. It's quite a technical thing and it's very difficult to explain on some levels, but effectively there's lots of different ways that the helmet can protect us when it's really strong and keeps its structure. And one of the main things that the helmet can really do is, and Arai include it on their branding, is what's called glancing off. Effectively, this helmet is designed that when an energy is coming towards it, the shell retains its shape as much as possible. If we have a shell that deflects, diffracts and moves potentially, what happens is as the energy is coming towards, we have to use the EPS liner to absorb the energy because the shell is beginning to move inwards. In testing, energies are applied very, very directly to a shell, so we don't have to worry about that in testing so much. But in the real world, actually, there's almost an infinite amount more angles than an energy can come towards you. By giving you that really, really strong outer shell, we're giving you the maximum possible chance to deflect the energy away from the shell. So we're not even having to engage the EPS slider, which gives you an extra level of safety. And they call it glancing off. So if you imagine, effectively, we've got an impact coming towards us and the angle is quite lean, it's quite small to the shell, it just moves the energy away from. We never actually have to engage the EPS slider. So it's like an extra layer almost of safety on the outside of the helmet. There's no testing for this. Specifically, it's something that Arai have kind of gained knowledge about from their expertise in racing. And it's just something that they've learnt about and they believe really adds benefit to the consumer. Now what that does is it does make the helmets very expensive compared to some brands because there's a huge amount of work, craftsmanship and different materials as well that go to make the shells as strong and as hard as they possibly can be. So there's nothing off the shelf in terms of an Arai, in terms of the materials that go into them, even down to the base fiber that they use, and even the shape that that base fiber takes is completely customized to Arai. They're built from super fiber. Super fiber is a very, very strong grade of fiberglass, like almost like a military grade. It's 6 times more expensive and 30% stronger than a fiberglass that you get on the market. But not only that, it's actually got a complex weave in this shell. And when we talk about fiber and reinforcement in helmets, energy can only travel down the direction of the fiber. If we have a fibrous material that has a very complex structure with fibers going everywhere, there's lots of directions that energy can be dispersed across, which is why Arai use their super complex fiber construction within their shell. There are 2 layers of that within every single shell as well. So there's lots and lots of expense before we started in terms of manufacturing those processes. And then there's a load of extra materials inside the shell to get it to perform very, very well. So before you even started, massive manufacturing and massive cost, but that's building everything to make this piece as strong as possible. Even the shape is making it as strong as possible. The silhouette of this helmet is like an egg shape. An egg shape is very, very strong within nature. And that gives you that extra strength as well. And it allows that piece on the outside to be very smooth so that if we do have a crash, the other thing that we can get the benefit of is the helmet is allowed to travel down the road without snagging and twisting, which is really, really beneficial as well. The best thing about these helmets in the way that I can show you is literally to stand on this helmet, which we'll do from some B-roll, but if I stand on this helmet, I'm 75 kilos and you can see just how strong this piece is and how stable it is in holding my weight. That is incredible. It's a really, really good benefit for that safety. That means also that the EPS liner on the inside can be very, very soft, which means that when you wear an Arai, it's very, very comfortable when you first put it on your head. Not only is the comfort liner great, no problems at all, but that EPS liner molds your head in a way that just feels like home. When you try an Arai on, you go, oh, that's really, really nice. And Arai are the only brand in the world that uses a single piece multi-density EPS liner. So what that means is this piece has different densities within it in the different impact areas to give you the greatest benefit for safety. And it's made in a single piece so that you have no construction joints and the energy can travel smoothly through this piece when we do have an accident. The one on the inside here is also painted black, so that you can also see when you've had an impact, so that you can dispose of it if you know that you've had an impact, and that has absorbed energy to protect you, which is a really, really big benefit. So huge amount of manufacturing, really, really interesting piece. Does make them very expensive, but their absolute focus is on safety, which is a great thing. To take you through the range, I'll start with the RX-7. So the RX-7, I'm sure you guys all recognize, it is a silhouette that is absolutely synonymous with racing. It's been around for a long, long time. Although it is a race focus helmet, don't let that fool you. We sell a lot of these helmets to people out on the road because they look great and they perform very, very well indeed. So don't be afraid to pick one of these up if you do have an interest in looking at the Arai brand. It does have a PB SNC squared shell, which is their most technically advanced shell. Everything I've spoke about goes into every shell, but the RX-7 just takes it to that next level with a few extra materials, which is really, really nice. So the PB SNC squared shell on the RX-7. The other thing that the RX-7 does for us very, very well is ventilate. So we have the huge ducts on the top part of the shell. The inputs there are 3 of, and the outputs for the hot air is 4 of. And that's why it's called the RX-7V. 7 ventilation holes on the top part of the shell to flow as much air through the helmet as possible. Because when you're working physically hard on your motorbike, you're producing a lot of heat. You need to get that heat out of the inside of a helmet. We've got the wing on the back, which is designed to reduce buffeting, to keep the helmet as stable as possible when we're traveling at high speed. This was the first helmet to feature the VAS system. So the way this visor opens and closes to allow the visor to be low on the helmet to give you more shell and more protection at this key area, which is really, really nice. 2-position chin vents on the front here as well for your rider comfort. All the closures on the ducts as well are really strong. So they're really good at keeping the wind out so you can ride it, in the winter when it's a little bit colder, and they're really good for keeping the noise out as well. Further ventilation we've got on the back part of the helmet here with these Venturi effect cowls on the back. So what will happen is the air will come through the chin bar and out the back of the helmet, and there's negative pressure to help draw the air out the back of the helmet. You've got a really large chin curtain on the RX-7V, and this is a great feature for people out on the road, as well as people who don't suffer with heat. With our racers, we do tend to remove this because they are getting very, very hot. But if you are a road user or you don't get too hot, this is a great feature because it keeps a lot of noise out of the helmet, but it is removable. And we've got the Eco Pure material in here. So this is a sweat wicking and antimicrobial material that's very good at gripping your face. So it's very, very technical to keep the helmet still and kind of move that sweat moisture away from you so you're kept nice and comfortable when you are working hard. Venturi on the back of the neck roll as well. So again, just to create as much airflow as possible with the RX-7. The RX-7 is a slightly more petite shell than some of the others in the range as well. And what I really like about that, it gives a really nice compact fit. I would fully recommend anybody that is interested is try the RX-7 on. It is one of those helmets you really have to feel to believe. So that's the RX-7 at the top part, the Sport Ascend, but again, very, very usable for the road. And then coming down through the kind of the main range, we then have the Quantic. So that's the helmet here. In terms of the Quantic, if you are a new person into the Arai brand, this is the helmet that I absolutely recommend for you. The Quantic is a great introduction to the brand because its comfort levels are unbelievable. I really think that Arai got it absolutely right with this piece in terms of the fit on the inside of the helmet, as well as the materials as well. So if you've never worn an Arai, start with the Quantic. It's a great helmet. It is the more sports touring based helmet, touring/helmet that you're gonna get from Arai, built for riding for a long time. You have a kind of a lower profile set of ducts versus the RX7. This is to create less noise. It's to give you the ventilation that you require for the road, but without being over the top about it. What I like about this helmet is it's got this 3D logo vent that you can see on the front here. And this is a low speed vent. So kind of 30 miles an hour and below, that's gonna vent a load of air into the front part of the helmet. And then as the speed picks up, that's when we take the teardrop duct on the top in. They're going to be effective at higher speeds. So it gives you like a customizable set of ventilations into the helmet, which is really nice. The wing on the back is then to create that stability to stop the helmet from moving around in those more sit up and beg bike positions. So it does create that comfort, and it also gives the ventilation out the back of the helmet as well. So we've got, again, that Venturi effect. We're drawing through that air as much as possible from the top part to give you that rider comfort. We've got 2-position chin bar on this helmet. Slides up and down, and then we've got, again, that venting out the back here. We've got the VAS system, so that really nice visor, really easy quick release system to use as well. And on the inside, I can just show you this. This is that lovely crushed velvet material that I was talking about. Super comfortable. The one thing that Quantic did as well, they changed the shell shape just a little bit here. So what you've got is a 5mm increase each side, so it makes it a lot easier for getting on and off versus the RX7. And again, if you're, regularly going into a fuel station, you need to take your helmet off, something like that, this is a great helmet to be able to do that. It doesn't kind of get in the way as you're trying it on and off, which is really nice. You do have a chin curtain on, it's a little bit smaller. Everything is removable from the inside. So removable cheek pads, removable skull cap as well. So you can kind of refresh those if you need to. You can clean them up, no problems at all. This has been built as well with comm systems in mind. So whilst Arai don't build it onto the inside, you as a consumer, if you want a helmet where you can put a comm system on, this is a great helmet to be able to do so. So what Arai have done with this part of the shell is just flatten it off a little bit, so you can put the controller unit on the outside here, and then you've got extra large ear cups in the cheek pads to be able to fit the comm system, which is really nice. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I love this little feature. There's a little pocket there, so for your excess speaker wires, you can just poke them down there. Complex problem, simple solution. I love that, really nice. But definitely a great helmet to start anybody into the Arai brand is the Quantic. Fully recommend people try that on. From there, we go to kind of the muscle bike end of the market. The retro and custom end of the market with the Concept XE. Now, there was a helmet back, I think it was in the 80s, it was called the Rapide. So the Rapide was kind of the helmet at the time, but obviously at the time it was all about those kind of, that kind of look. And what has been popular in the past few years, obviously, is lots of custom bikes coming to market, lots of modern retro as well. The Concept XE is the helmet that's designed for those types of motorbikes. I think the key thing for me is that it's got no ventilation on the top to give you that really retro look. It looks super cool as a result. And then you've also got this really strong and aggressive chin bar on the front here. So it sticks out forward. It's very kind of aggressive looking. The key thing with Arai, they will not compromise on the performance of their product. So whilst it looks cool and retro, still performs how you'd expect this kind of helmet to, which is really nice. First of all, ventilation. So the ventilation is through the helmet. You can't see it, but it goes through the helmet. So what you've effectively got on the EPS liner, excuse me, on the EPS liner, on this helmet, you have a channel built into this part here. The shell is also reinforced in that part there. And then what happens is as the air travels through that channel, it vents onto through a series of vents, channels down onto the rider's head and creates that ventilation in the helmet, which is really nice. The air gets in through the brow vent in the visor. So all you do is you flick those down, it comes through that channel. Works really well. And then you've got that really big exhaust on the back here with including that Venturi in the neck roll. So again, just to try and draw the air through. So even though it doesn't look like you've got a lot of ventilation, you really do with the Concept XE. Again, it's about that performance of the product. Of course, you have that shell, you have that EPS liner as you'd expect from Arai that we've already spoke about, which is really nice. If we have a quick look on the inside, We've got the same material that you get on the RX-7, so the Eco Pure. Now what Arai have done for the Concept XE to create that different look is they've given you in a black kind of finish, just creates a different bit of an aesthetic. But again, removable cheek pads and removable skull caps, so you can change them out, you can wash them if you need to. Lots and lots of performance in a really nice looking helmet, the Concept XE, absolutely lovely. And then finally, and by no means least, we've got the TX5. So the TX5 is clearly the dual sport helmet within the range. And what really makes people buy this helmet, I think, is that it works as a dual sport helmet very, very well. You know, a peak could create a lot of discomfort, particularly at highway speeds and whatever else when you check your shoulder on a motorbike helmet. But with Arai's peak, it doesn't. It really, really works really, really well. Now, part of the reason that is because it's built from a very special type of plastic. You can see, very, very flexible if I move this around. And we also have a couple of cutouts in the peak designed to deal with the buffeting that the wind will give you as you're traveling along. So effectively, you've got a large cutout here. If you have undulating wind coming off the top of a screen, it can hook underneath that cutout and it stops it from pulling your head back. Similarly, we have a couple of aerofoils here which create downforce. So that kind of that you're going to get from the peak is counteracted and it cuts like a blade through the wind, which means that it's very comfortable as a peak can be, which is really, really nice. Because it's a dual sport helmet, of course, you can run it without the peak as well. So a lot of people don't know, but the TX5 makes a really nice looking sports helmet as well. Arai have taken some cues from the success of the Quantic with this helmet. So first thing you might notice is the bubble logo vent again. So that's the low speed kind of vent. And then the top one, we've got that teardrop style, not slightly different, but the high speed vent on the top part to again get you that rider comfort, which is really nice. Slightly different on the back, but you've still got that wing, that Venturi effect, creating that stability. And then you've got the exhaust vent, again, hidden in there to create that airflow through of the helmet. They've taken that from the Quantic, that ventilation. It works really, really well. The other thing that they've done is they've given you the shell shape in as much as they can from the Quantic. So if we go to the entry in, we have again, 5mm increase on each side and a 5mm forward. So when you're getting this helmet on and off, super comfortable to be able to do that, which is really nice. The other thing is, but on both the Quantic and the TX5, to be fair, the front to back distance that you have between the forehead and the back of the head, really, really accommodating. So again, definitely a very, very comfortable fit from the TX5, which is really, really nice. You've got a dual kind of flow of air on the chin guard. So the front switches on and off, but there's also a switch on the inside as well, which is really, really nice. You can create no flow of air, or you can switch the inside to off, have the outside open, and it vents up onto the visor as well. So if you're getting really, really hot, you can get some of that airflow and cool yourself down, which is really nice. This is my personal sample, so I've actually fitted mine with the larger chin curtain as well that you get on the RX7. So this won't come on your helmets that you get in the box, just bear that in mind. But what you do have, you have a little pull down chin curtain that fits here. You just click that down and it just stops that airflow coming in and reduces some of that incoming noise, which is really, really nice. Fixed in neck roll, removable cheek pads, removable skull caps. So again, you can replace those with different sized ones. You can clean them, no problems at all. And again, the TX5 has been designed for comms units as well. So very similar to the Quantic, flattened off area on the shell, slightly different cheek pad on this. So instead of being on the inside of the cheek pads, it's actually built onto the outside of the cheek pad, pre-fitted with a bit of Velcro so you can fit your comm system there. Really easy to do, no problems at all. But again, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but yeah, you've just got a little pocket for your spare speaker wires. So again, super useful and really, really accommodating as well. The big thing about the TX5 from the TX4 is that now this peak is quick release. There's no mucking about with screwdrivers, with pennies to try and get the peak off. A few clicks, bom, 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 and you've got the peak off, you've got the visor off. Really, really easy to do. So in a nutshell, as brief as that was, that's a very, very quick rundown of the Arai range for 2025. Like I say, come and speak to the guys at Infinity. They're very, very knowledgeable, great guys, and I work with them a lot. So really, really good people to come and speak to. Thank you very much.